For years, the go-to healthy breakfast was cereal with skim milk, a banana, and a glass of orange juice. This is what I had as a kid every morning. Then came oatmeal. But neither one worked. Energy crashed by mid-m morning, cravings hit by 10 a.m., and the belly fat music never moved. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why and what to do instead. Because the problem isn't how much you're eating at breakfast, it's what you're eating and what it's doing to your hormones before the day has even started. Now, I had a patient named Gary, and he was 30 lbs overweight, dealing with high blood pressure. He was on 2 medications for it, and he had sleep apnea. He had recently lost 20 lbs over the last year, but hadn't been able to crack that last 30 lbs and hadn't lost any weight in the last 4 months. He was frustrated about this. Now, he proudly told me about his breakfast and how he ate oatmeal every single day. I had him make this one simple shift that I'm going to go through in this video, and within 3 months he dropped that 30 lbs and his blood pressure was perfect, and he was able to come off of his medications and his sleep apnea went away. So let's talk about what Gary did and about how your breakfast impacts your hormones and your fat burning. We're going to start by talking about what your body is actually doing overnight. You see, while you're sleeping overnight, that's your liver's primary repair, detox, and fat metabolism window. Your liver clears cellular waste. It regulates blood sugar without insulin, and it burns stored fat. Now, autophagy is your cellular cleanup process, and it's most active during the overnight fast. In the morning, your body is at its peak natural fat burning opportunity of the day. Now, the first bite of food, especially carbs, it spikes insulin and all the repair processes halt immediately. Your liver shifts from repair mode to storage mode, and this can persist all day. Now, the blood sugar reality most people don't know is that your entire bloodstream holds only 1 teaspoon at any given moment. That's 4g of sugar. A healthy fasting blood glucose is 80 to 90 milligrams per deciliter, and you want a low insulin, low inflammatory state. Now, your liver stores 100 to 120 grams of sugar as glycogen. That's stored glucose in your liver. And your muscles also store glycogen, about 300 and 400 grams depending on their mass. More muscle mass, more glycogen storage. When you eat a high-carb breakfast, it floods the system far beyond capacity and the body cranks out insulin rapidly. That insulin surge stops fat burning. Now your liver stores instead of releases, and energy crashes follow. High insulin levels are the leading cause of fatty liver disease, where the liver stores dangerous visceral fat around it. The only way to stop this or reverse fatty liver is to get your insulin levels down. Your morning insulin sensitivity is fragile. One bad breakfast is going to disrupt that hormonal environment for hours. So let's talk about the healthy breakfast that started the problem. This is what I had when I was growing up. My mom, she wouldn't give what I wanted, which was Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, whatever I saw on TV. So instead, she got what was marketed as healthy. So we got Cheerios, and then we had skim milk because we didn't want fat. We put a banana in there, and sometimes we would have orange juice. They're all marketed as healthy, but they're metabolically destructive. All those things turn into sugar. Cheerios, skim milk, banana, and if you add in the orange juice, I mean, you're talking about 40, 45, maybe 60 grams of rapidly absorbed sugar and carbs. A medium banana alone is 14g of natural sugar with a glycemic index of 50. 1 cup of orange juice, 21 grams of sugar, virtually no fiber. It hits the bloodstream like a soft drink. The full combination, we're talking about 60 plus grams of rapidly absorbed sugar before the day starts. Skim milk has no fat to slow absorption. So it's got a little bit of protein but no fat. Everything hits fast. You get this massive insulin spike within 30 to 60 minutes of eating it. Now all of a sudden it pulls your blood sugar down. This is what happened to me. My energy would go down. I feel really fatigued. I'd have cravings. And then you're in fat storage mode all day, and your metabolism is stuck in sugar burning and fat storage. And then as I got older, we switched to oatmeal. And a lot of people think oatmeal is a really healthy breakfast, but it doesn't solve the problem. You see, plain rolled oats, they're a genuine improvement. They're healthier than the Cheerios with the skim milk. They have a glycemic index of 55. And they have meaningful fiber content. And they have things like beta-glucans, which can be healthy for your gut. But most people eliminate those benefits because they use something like instant oatmeal, which has a glycemic index of 79. That's much closer to refined carbs due to the processing. Then they add in honey, brown sugar, dried fruit, or flavored packets, and you get a dramatic sugar increase. So eating oatmeal alone without protein or fat removes the blood sugar buffering effect. If you're ever going to eat oatmeal, you need to make sure you add in like protein powder, add in whole milk, unsweetened Greek yogurt. You can add in healthy fats, right? You can do like coconut flakes or something like that, or maybe some nuts. And that's going to bring that glycemic index, that glycemic impact of the oatmeal down. But your standard instant oatmeal with topping, you're talking about 40 to 50 grams of carbs with minimal protein or fat. And the core issue, leading the day with carbs as the primary macronutrient, it sets up the same hormonal cascade regardless of the source. Plain, steel cut or rolled oats with protein and fat, that's meaningfully better. But oatmeal alone with sweet toppings still disrupts the liver's repair window. So let's talk about what a metabolism protective breakfast actually looks like. The foundation should be protein and healthy fat first. Carbohydrates should be last, or you can completely eliminate them if you want to or need to, like if you're a type 2 diabetic. According to research, this can reduce post-meal glucose using the protein and fiber as well as fat first. That's going to reduce that post-meal glucose and insulin spike by 30 to 40%, and in some studies up to 73%. What do you want to remove entirely? Fruit juice. Get rid of that. Definitely don't use fruit juice. No refined cereals, no flavored oatmeals. Get rid of toast, jam, granola. Most granners are loaded with sugar. And you want to get rid of low-fat flavored yogurts. You can use something like a full-fat, unsweetened Greek yogurt that's high in protein. It's got healthy fats and it's low-carb. That's fine. But most of the yogurts out there, they're full of added sugars, and a lot of them are very low in fat. When you do that, when you get rid of those things and you focus on protein and fats, it's going to keep your insulin low. It's going to extend your liver repair window, and it's going to eliminate those spike to crash cycles that so many people are dealing with. So focus on high protein, at least 30 to 50 grams of high quality protein per meal. What are some ideal options? Things like eggs and turkey bacon cooked in beef tallow or grass-fed butter. And you can add in some leafy greens with that. I like to put like parsley in or arugula or something like that with my eggs and my turkey bacon. You can do grass-fed beef or turkey and use that with sautéed vegetables and sautéed in ghee, beef tallow or coconut oil. Those are all good healthy fats. You can do a high-quality protein shake. You can use either water or grass-fed whole milk or unsweetened coconut milk, which provide good fats. Add in a good protein powder. Add in some frozen berries. I also like putting an avocado or half an avocado in it as well to keep your blood sugar more stable. Another great breakfast option is smoked salmon with full-fat cheese and a cucumber. You could do something like sardines or mackerel if you like those things with avocado and mixed greens. You can do unsweetened whole milk Greek yogurt organic, ideally with 1 to 2 scoops of collagen peptides that are flavored with stevia so you get some flavoring in it without added sugar. And then you can add in berries or pomegranate seeds in there as well. A small amount of low glycemic colorful fruit like berries, pomegranate, kiwi, citrus, all that's acceptable alongside protein and fat. So you never want the naked carbs. Eating the fruit alone, not a good idea. But if you eat it at the end of the meal, after you've had good protein and fat, then it's totally fine. You want to delay that first meal at least 1 to 2 hours or more after waking. And that extends the repair window and improves insulin sensitivity. This is why a lot of people do really well with intermittent fasting and just kind of skipping eating in the morning hours. Now, if you feel better eating in the morning, great. But I would recommend waiting about 1 to 2 hours after waking. Make sure you're hydrating your body really well and then have that high protein breakfast. Now let's talk about the morning routine that protects liver function. You want to start with quality water and electrolytes. That's going to support your overnight detox processes. You can do black coffee or plain unsweetened tea like green tea. That's fine. It does not break the metabolic fasting window. For many people, coffee is great for liver, right? It actually helps stimulate liver detox processes. And green tea and other types of herbal teas like dandelion tea, things like ginger tea can be really great for liver function as well. Then you want to get light movement before your first meal. Something like taking a walk, stretching, body weight work, all that's going to extend your fat burning. Also, getting morning sunlight within the first hour of waking. That's going to anchor your circadian rhythm and support cortisol timing. And then when breakfast happens, again, focus on protein and fat as the base. No sugar, no refined starch, no juice. As you go through the day, avoid snacking. Only eat 2 to 3 meals a day. And make sure you get 30 to 50 plus grams of protein in each of those meals. Really, you should be eating 100 to 200 grams of protein per day, depending upon your body size and activity levels. And you get it in those 2 to 3 meals. My wife, she'll eat around 50 grams of protein per meal. I eat around 75 to 100 grams of protein per meal. I'm larger than her. I have more muscle mass and I work out longer. My workouts are longer. Hers are usually 15 minutes. My workouts are like 3,540 minutes. And so I actually need more protein than she does. And that's normal. Most men are going to need more protein than women, unless the woman is maybe an athlete doing high levels of exercise. Now, when you get your protein levels right, it's going to stabilize your blood sugar levels. It's going to keep your insulin down, and that's going to keep your cells insulin sensitive and prevent hunger and cravings and provide key amino acids that fuel muscle, helping you preserve muscle and bone mass. If you eat carbs, choose healthier ones like fruit, root vegetables, so things like sweet potatoes and carrots or sourdough bread, and eat it at the end of the meal or at least after you've consumed a good amount of protein, fiber, and healthy fats. So at least make sure you take a couple spoonfuls or forkfuls of the protein and fat source before you dig into your sourdough bread. Now let's answer some of your questions here. Won't skipping breakfast slow metabolism? No. Fasting actually raises growth hormone, preserves muscle, supports metabolism. Studies show no muscle loss with time-restricted eating as long as you're eating enough protein throughout the day and enough calories overall in general throughout the day. The second question, I hear this all the time, is I wake up hungry. Doesn't that mean I need food? Well, usually blood sugar dysregulation, not true caloric need, is what drives hunger. And hunger will typically disappear within days as insulin sensitivity improves. Try drinking a glass of water when you wake up in the morning. That's going to fill your stomach. It's going to suppress ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. For many people, they notice they feel a lot better. They're not hungry anymore. And they usually can go, easily an hour, maybe even 2 hours before eating any food in the morning. And as long as you stay hydrated, that actually can help put off hunger oftentimes for several hours. Now, third question, are smoothies okay? This is a little bit nuanced. Smoothies can be okay if they're protein and fat-based. If it's like a fruthavi drink, right, where it has, honey in it and stuff like that, that's going to deliver a significant sugar load despite appearing healthy. And a lot of the Smoothie King type places, right, the smoothie shops, they're just full of sugar. So you want to avoid those. If you do a smoothie at home and you put in a lot of protein powder, maybe a little bit of avocado or coconut oil, use like a full fat milk, coconut milk or whole milk, right? Organic grass-fed milk ideally. Something along those lines. If you have enough fat and protein in there, it's going to be fine. But if you don't and it's low in the protein, low in the fat, it's going to just spike your blood sugar. So then I wouldn't recommend the smoothie. Now, next question, isn't breakfast important for women's hormones? And that answer is nuance as well, because I've seen women do really well with intermittent fasting in the morning, while others do better eating a high-protein breakfast. If you do better eating in the morning, like eating that protein and fat first, that's going to apply regardless of timing. What I found from my experience is if women just get 100 to 150 grams of protein in throughout the day and eat sufficient calories, they oftentimes can fast and do really well in the morning. But everybody's a little bit different. And so if you just notice that you do really well eating early, then do that and just make sure you're getting that 30 to 50 plus grams of protein in that meal. And try to do your best to limit any sort of processed carbohydrates. Now, next question. What about morning exercise? You see, post-workout, that is the ideal time for carbs, right? So getting a workout that actually will allow you to be more insulin sensitive and allow you to be able to actually take in those carbs because your body's replacing the glycogen. So if you get a good morning workout, then you can actually have more carbs in your breakfast meal. And so if you are going to have oatmeal or something along those lines, make sure you go out for like a really nice walk or lift weights before you do that. And that's going to help you be able to absorb that glucose that's elevated in your bloodstream and get it into the muscles. Of course, make sure you still have a lot of protein on board. Just mixing in like some good quality whey protein, collagen peptides into your oatmeal alone, right? Adding another 20 to 30 grams of protein with your bowl of oatmeal will lower the glycemic impact of the oatmeal and provide amino acids that support your muscle tissue. So that actually will make the oatmeal a little bit better for your body than if you would just have kind of straight steel cut oats. And of course, make sure you're avoiding the instant oatmeal like we've talked about before. So, next question. My doctor said eat breakfast. Most conventional guidance is outdated. It really doesn't account for hormonal implications of meal timing. We know that composition matters far more than whether breakfast is eaten at all. So people will say things like, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And yeah, actually it plays a huge impact on your overall hormonal regulation throughout the day. So if you eat something like cereal, oatmeal, fruit juice, that's going to spike your insulin. It's going to push you into hunger cravings and energy disruption all day long. So yeah, it had a huge impact on your health. In general, breakfast is overrated. Okay, getting the overall amount of protein in your diet on a daily basis, eating sufficient calories, avoiding processed foods, eating single ingredient foods, right? Things like beef, eggs, salmon, avocado, olive oil, right? Eating things like that, arugula, strawberries. So eating single ingredient foods and getting enough protein and healthy fats, that's really the most important thing. So most doctors, they just really haven't been taught nutrition. So they really don't understand how to advise people when it comes to really good habits to set their hormones up for great energy all day. But now you know what your body is actually doing overnight, why the first meal of the day matters more than almost anything else, and exactly what to put on your plate instead. So, start tomorrow morning, one change, protein and fat first, sugar and juice gone. Give it 3 days and pay attention to your energy, your cravings, and how you feel by midday. The difference will speak for itself. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who's still eating the breakfast they were told was healthy. Hit subscribe and drop a comment below telling me what your morning meal looks like right now. And as always, be blessed.